our first year of marriage was hard. And now put it like this, why we weren't happy when we first got married. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that for a second. It's about to get deep. No. And it's two different stories for the both of us, but there was a lot of emotional turmoil for you going on before we got married. And that put a lot of pressure on me. And then there was the financial pressure because I was trying to figure out how I was going to be able to provide for us getting married. And I remember we went to go look at one apartment that you really liked. And I backed out of it because I was like, I don't think we're going to be able to afford this. So then I went and found a different place for us to stay.
But what got me can we just talk about what got me really mad? Is that we had already put a deposit on that apartment and it was non-refundable. Yep. So when he decided that, okay, I don't think we can do this apartment, we lost our money and I had to adjust to a lesser situation that I was like, bruh. Yeah.
And place wasn't nearly as nice, but I felt like, we could afford it. And I felt like I was making the right decision because I was trying to be frugal, make the best, but emotions don't care about what's practical or what makes the most sense, things like that doesn't matter. And you were dealing with so much already. And it was maybe, again, I don't know, we at some point after we got married, when we got happy, don't worry guys, we're happy now, we really are. But we were discussing and kind of unpacking all this stuff. We realized that for you, marriage was supposed to be like a victory lap for you, getting married, especially the wedding day, and it wasn't. And so a lot of the challenges that we had, you felt like you didn't deserve this. And you pick up from there because I don't want to explain your emotions for you, but marriage just was not giving you the fulfillment that you thought it was.
To be honest, that's because I was misplacing my emotions and my expectations into getting married because I had experienced some heartache with family, not with no relationship, but some family stuff was going on, and not to get into too many details because, I'm going to protect my family. But it just, stuff had just fell. I'll put the bottom had fell out of my life. Like the rug was just really just snatched. And it was devastating to me emotionally. And it all happened at the same time because literally the day we confirmed that we were in a relationship, to be like, okay, we're going to start dating.
The day we confessed our feelings to each other.
Yeah, exactly. The very next day, stuff hit the fan.
Yeah, very dramatic shift in your
very
life.
Dramatic shift. So when I should have been the happiest and like, oh my God, my prayers have finally manifested and here I am, boom. It was like, nah. And it was rough. It was really tough. So I was trying to manage my emotions concerning all my family stuff and what was going on over there and trying to manage our relationship all of a sudden. So I was really putting a lot of
pressure on.
It
was your one bright light in the darkness.
Yeah, I was putting a lot of pressure on our relationship to be that good thing and to make me happy, to fulfill me, because I was just feeling so, I don't want to say lost, but just I don't know what word to use. It was just like, I can't believe it's happening. Yeah. Just kind of numb. That's kind of the word I want to use. I just grew numb. And I didn't realize just how numb I had become. Because what was going on, I had to choose to turn my emotions off concerning that situation, to the point where I literally kind of turned off even between us. Not realizing that was happening, but it did.
And it manifested for real once we got married.
Yeah.
And one thing I realized, fast forwarding a little bit, that I didn't realize this until maybe like a year or so later, that the woman I married was not the woman that I had, quote unquote, fell in love with. She was completely different. And that was disillusionment for me. And we ended up becoming offended at each other early on in our relationship, in our marriage specifically.
Because prior to us getting actually married, we had a spark between us. Like we had the tension, it was there. And it was like, man, I just can't wait to get married. Oh, I just want to be with you.
Explode.
Yeah, just like, oh my God. But it was like, because we started, it was February 2015 that we started dating. And then we got married in September 2016. So it was a whole year and some change.
That year drained that tension and drained out that passion. It was like walking dead. It was on different levels for both of us. Yeah. For me, that financial pressure was getting to me. And her pressure, because she was clinging on me for happiness, And so whenever I couldn't always provide that, whenever I would have to bring a back report of like, okay, well, we can't do this, and trying to have enough money to pull off a wedding, and we go back, we're like, we should have just did something very simple and not even tried to do the wedding on the scale. The scale of the wedding wasn't that big. No. And I think that was the frustration. It wasn't like we're asking for a lot, but even the things that we wanted, we had to fight for.
But the problem with that is that we had a good wedding.
Oh yeah,
we had a beautiful wedding.
Yeah, we did.
And I'm so thankful for my parents, his parents, and everyone
that sacrificed
that made that day happen. So I'm thankful. But because at that moment, I could not see all of that.
Yeah.
You know, and even on the day I was getting married, I could just remember just being so silent, and it was like I was trying to find an emotion. And I'm being very, wow, I don't know why I'm talking about this like this. Like, I don't think we've ever talked about this publicly. No. It's so real. And I can remember, you know, putting my veil, getting my mom and my bridesmaid, they were putting my veil on. And that's the first time that I was feeling like, oh, I'm getting married. It was that moment where I felt like, oh, I'm getting married, and I began to cry. But then I sucked it all back up, you know, because, I don't know, it was just a weird thing for me. Yeah. And I didn't really enjoy my wedding day the way I imagined I would. Yeah. And it's not until a year later and a little bit longer where we actually sat down and found the joy of our wedding day.
But let's go back. if we want to go through this darkness, let's go all the way through. And I remember, you know, like I said, it was very stressful. And I felt like I was having to try to manage her emotions while trying to figure out this financial thing. Whew, okay. So it got so rough at one moment during the planning process that I went to my family, my family, and I was like, I am terrified because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know how to handle all this pressure. And they had to lay hands on me and pray for me. Have a praying family, have a praying group of friends or people or something. And they had to pray for me. They had to physically hold me up because I was collapsing under the weight of this emotional and this spiritual pressure that was on me. And I just couldn't handle it. And I said, I don't know how to explain it. I'm just terrified. And they broke. Yeah, I'm about to actually. No. But anyway, I just remember that moment so real. And I didn't know what to do. And then pressure was just so real. But we got through it, and they broke that spirit of fear at that moment. And I had to continue to battle and fight that. But I remember feeling like I didn't have you as an ally as much as I felt like I should have had, because I was constantly trying to encourage you and almost reprimand you, like, come on, like, you know, it's like things aren't so bad. Stop complaining about this thing not being right, that being right. You know, these are good things happening. Trying to get you to appreciate what we had. But at the same time, I'm under this pressure, and I felt like I didn't have a lot of encouragement from myself because I just had to be the strong one. And so, talk about the darkness of the wedding. The wedding was so beautiful, man. We went back, and it's really like, man, we wish we could have just, you know, slowed down and really taken it all in.
In one of our vlogs some time ago, you probably see a little clip of me watching our wedding videos, and I'm crying. And at that moment where I just became very thankful, and I was like, oh my God, this was beautiful, and just so thankful that we are married, and that, you know, God, He favored us throughout that whole entire process. But our emotional state of mind was just all over the place.
And we uploaded the actual wedding film I made for our wedding several years later. Yeah. But you could tell it was beautiful. She was so beautiful. But let's talk about that for a moment. What was interesting was standing there at the altar and waiting for it to come out. Hey, you know, you see the movies, you know what you're supposed to feel, how you're supposed to react and stuff. You see the memes, like the girls like, if you don't cry when I come down, I'm going to turn back and do it again. You know, guys like that. So I'm expecting myself that some kind of reaction when I see her. And I saw her, and I didn't feel anything. And it bothered me because I'm like, what's wrong? Is something wrong with me? Is something wrong with her? Why am I not getting that feeling? Now, there was a certain point where I almost felt like I was going to cry, and I was like, okay, thank you. But it's like, it came, and then it stopped, and it went away. It was like, I want to come back. Like, I want to feel this moment, but I couldn't really feel the moment. And it was bothering me. I think that carried with me. And I think those are the moments where young couples, when they had those emotions, whether before getting married or after, that they feel like maybe I married the wrong person, and then they want a divorce or get out of it, you know. And I knew better than to just think that, oh, I married the wrong person. But I knew that something was wrong and that things weren't clicking right. And like you said, it took a while for things to start clicking right.
And listen, this may not be your story. Hopefully it's not your story that way. But we're just saying that every couple experienced that juncture in a relationship, whether it's the engagement process.
Well, apparently happens in the first 2 years, according to this
Yeah,
statistic.
you know, or the day after you get married,
Yeah.
whatever. Just be aware that you're going to be challenged with those feelings and thoughts. And my situation was unique to me, you know, and again, like I said, there was a lot of personal things happening with my family and our church and stuff like that that really affected me emotionally, that bound me up. And it really, at the end of the day, once we peel back the layers, it really wasn't nothing wrong that he was doing, or it was just, like I said, I was betting on this marriage kind of rescuing me emotionally from the pain I was feeling from all the other stuff that was happening. And when you make your spouse or a thing or whatever the source of your happiness, is always going to fail
disappoint you.
Always, 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 because they're not capable of doing that. That's God's job.